3,000 subs. We got there. Time for one last BBM draft with just me and Tyler. We're going to be jumping straight into the underdog streets. Lots to talk about. Lots of camp hype. Lots of cuts. It's the Underdog Fantasy Sanctuary Best Ball Show. Let's go. Yes, Tyler, 3,000 subs. Players getting cut left, right, and center. Where do you want to start?
Shout out to everybody hitting 3K subs. Hell yeah, brother. Fucking love it. It's home stretch season. Had a gorgeous BBM that I found out was apparently duped through the first 4 rounds by a friend of the channel, Best Ball Guy, who was just on with us yesterday for brunch. So I will see you in the finals. And it's all popping. It's all good. Week 1, I can just taste it. The cuts that we expected, the cuts we didn't expect. This is great. Finally some fresh stuff besides Brandon Ayuk is still angling for a contract because now Lane is paid.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm fresh off stream, or at least a pre-record FantasyPros where I drafted Tim Patrick, called him, solidified in that wide receiver role, and then came off the show and found out he got cut. So I'm pretty excited to find out who we can see get cut tonight. And is that a Carlsberg? It's not a Carlsberg. It's Heineken. I mean, slightly better. Scraping the barrel after a busy bank holiday weekend. But let's get into these drafts. And Tyler, I know you've probably sneaked us into one already.
We have sneaked the 101. Are you good with CMC, Lamb, Hill? What you want to do here?
I'm all right. I'm quite happy to defer to you on this one. I don't really have a huge strong feeling. I see Pat Kerrane, Patty Warbucks is in this draft with us.
Yeah. I swear to God, dude, if there's some sort of my understanding is that he and Davis both have 20-something drafts left, and they're both very scared that they're going to miss the boat on filling before the hype and FUD I'm seeing is Friday, Saturday. So, I guess he's just trying to get it in good while he can right off the ship chasing stream. When you have a baby, I guess you gotta do best ball breakfast, and then you got to do ADP chasing, and then you got to rip a couple BBMs, and then in between the ad breaks, you got to rip some big dog drafts. And all I got to say is salute Patty Warbucks. You haven't forgot this sicko degenerate you were, and that's why we love you.
Yeah, I definitely can relate to part of that and doing far less volume than Pat. But yeah, it is no up or shut up time, isn't it? I've kind of hit a point where I feel like I can probably get another 50 or so drafts in around the content I need to make in the next 10 days. Next week I've been blessed by late shifts at work, which means I'm going to have all day child-free till 3 p.m. in the day to draft my ass off, as well as try to get things going. Week 1 DFS preview will be out for all the YouTube members. Hit the join button down below if you want that. That is part of the gold tier. But yeah, first question though from Up Schneid is Tim Patrick officially dead? I'm at 0%, but I know people have been drafting him. I mean, I took a little bit of him over the last 2 weeks, but it definitely wasn't a situation where it felt like he was going to be great. It just felt like he might see some early season production. I probably have less than 2% production, but after coming off this stream where I particularly challenged the viewers to say whose team was better, mine or Andrew's, I'm ready to embrace another round of the Brit doesn't know ball abuse. Tyler, did you have much Tim Patrick?
No, the usage was notably weird. We all talked about it. And so with that, there was speculation of is Mims getting squeezed for a full-time role? Are they going to make Tim Patrick a thing? What he wants this size. Peyton wants this size veteran deference. What's going on here? So I think we can safely say, they were going CC. Tim Patrick is healthy. Come get your guy. We've got young guys we're going to play. That said, I'm not taking this to the bank that Marvin Mims is likely locked into a role, but Ben Albright and the beat are suggesting that there's very well might be a rotation because they like what Vele, the 6th-round rookie, has brought to the table. They like what Reynolds brings to the table with size and blocking. Sutton's obviously going to get his. So, and Franklin's there, although there's speculation that Franklin might be healthy scratched. I just won't be surprised if we see something like last year where Mims is given a chance in the starting role. I don't have confidence he's going to maintain that, but I think if you were scared off of drafting him for just the Tim Patrick thing, I think, go back to doing what you were doing. Tim Patrick likely to probably trade it to like what the Denver Broncos and the Detroit Lions swap their Josh Reynolds for Tim Patrick roles. We're on the clock. We're gonna forego the Saquon. Is there a double tap here that you are eyeing? I want to get some grown ass man. What about you?
Yeah, DK Metcalf definitely works for one of the picks. I mean, I just love Devonta Smith. I've been drafting plenty of him, but we could hedge and take Brandon Ayuk if you want. Say that he does get paid. I mean, I'd kind of lean towards Devonta Smith though.
I think Brandon Ayuk can be paid. I still think like regressing from 3 yards per route run, and I'd like to get a guy who's been practicing all camp and likely to be leading his team in targets on a regular basis. And I want to buy into a little bit of that Kellen Moore slot role. So let's get it good. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm definitely in on the Devonta Smith thing. I think the interesting thing is going to be seeing which of the players is prioritized with emotion. Like, because if that's AJ Brown, that could really take him to the next level. I think he probably profiles more as the guy that if you get ahead of steam on him is going to be very difficult to stop. But Devonta Smith, I liked Jahan Dotson at his cost on Washington, where I didn't believe really in the guys behind him, but I just don't think that Jahan Dotson can do much to stop Devonta Smith from being awesome.
If Jahan Dotson couldn't beat out Diane Brown and Olamide Zacchaeus, I'm not exactly sure what he's going to do. I think he simply the Eagles just did this with Kenny Pickett. Trade for cheap for the former first round pick. And if the team is wrong, you have Boone. And if they're not wrong, you could probably convince a dumb team to trade for him and bail you out and pick swap anyway. So
yeah.
But yeah, the final point on the Denver Broncos thing, I think the thing that we probably did need to take into account is that there's going to be some hodgepodge rotation. There is a rookie quarterback in town, and the way I've been drafting it for the longest time, and the way I'm probably going to keep drafting it, is that Sutton's locked in for the main big slot, wide receiver 1 role. His ceiling is interesting because rookie quarterback historically doesn't provide a whole lot, but this is going to be like a low ADOT on rhythm, quarterback that Russ kind of struggled to provide from like a rhythm standpoint. So I just think I'm gonna keep drafting the occasional Sutton when I need to catch up at wide receiver. I'm gonna keep drafting the running backs who are probably gonna get targets, probably top 5 in the league, and I will sprinkle in the occasional, rotational whatever. Because like Mims' year 2 profile was still really, really bad. And I don't want to ignore that. He was given much more opportunity from like a snaps, routes, and ADOT perspective than JSN was last year. The market kind of agrees with that. So yeah, that's I don't think Bo Nix is going to provide 3 serviceable wide receivers in this offense. And I think one of those guys is going to, if not both, are going to just be running backs. So I think it's skinny stack Bo season.
Well, let's talk about another player kind of in this range, Rashee Rice, who up on DraftKings he's up to pick 33 overall, and over here on Underdog, obviously he is rocketing up. How high are you willing to push Rashee Rice? Are you easing off now, having taken plenty when he was lower cost, or
it's tough.
Juju Smith-Schuster is going to take his work.
I think Juju was the team going. We had 1 week to get Sky Moore in to fill in, and we were reminded how much he does not block and does not play well. And let's go. And we probably want to cut Tony or, whatever. I think it's just depth. Hollywood's going to miss probably 1 to 2 weeks of the regular season. So go get a cheap depth guy that someone else is paying that is familiar with what you like to run and how you like to run it. If they were worried about Rashee missing a lot of games, I think they do a whole lot fucking more than go sign Juju dustbins. So that said, the Rice thing is tough because I like his profile more than a lot of guys, but I love Tank Dell year 2. I like Stephon Diggs getting to kind of be like, the the Stroud recapturing of youth. So I'm trying to mix him in because I feel like trying to get him at his ADP right about 40 to 42, he's likely going at this turn with Mahomes or with someone else trying to catch up. So I'm really only pushing him to like the back of the third, fourth, and then maybe trying to push him in the mid fourth in like a very casual, heavy room. I'm not going to be too worried about price because we've had enough guys fall, like Lad, like Nuke, like JMO's now falling. That like I think the combo is going to be fairly similar. That it's not going to matter a whole lot. And he wasn't in the 9th and 8th round long enough for it to truly matter. So I want the talent in the offense, but I'm not going to chase him up. Do you want to do a Pat Mahomes worthy, or do you want to double tap Lamar and Andrews? Classic choices.
I mean, I would lean towards Lamar and Andrews just because it tots off 2 elite onesie positions, and it would have been the same for me if that was a different combination. I was going to let you break the tie if you wanted to get more Mahomes worthy exposure, but hey.
No, my only hesitation is just I think one of the chalkiest stacks in all of draft world is affordable Lamar and affordable Andrews, and I think it happens a lot with CMC. That said, doesn't mean it's bad. I'm not as in love with Mahomes over Lamar is tough to swallow. Obviously, I would have probably been more akin to just double tapping receiver and push quarterback, but I don't mind building a different iteration of Lamar and Andrews. The thing with Andrews is he's missing some time. I haven't really figured out what's going on. So, as our local resident Ravens fan, could you give us some insight on what Mark Andrews is dealing with now that he's falling in drafts?
So he hasn't practiced since the car crash he was in, which was determined as like non-serious. And
I forgot about the car crash.
And John Harbaugh said that it was nothing serious and that he would be practicing soon enough, but he hasn't. I don't know where, I mean, if you've been in a car crash, you know that things like stiffness and aches and pains can come from those situations. But he said consistently that it'll be out there for week 1. I mean, week 1 for the Ravens is still 10 days away. I would imagine that he's still going to be fine. But
good call.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a little tricky. Shout out Ryan popping by. GM. Ryan will be joining us on Sunday. Sunday, we have a very special stream planned. We'll be drafting for 4, 5, maybe 6 hours, depending on how long we can stream for, how long we have will to go. We'll be drafting on Underdog, DraftKings, Drafters, whole host of people join us, including Ryan, who will stop by for a draft at one point. Because, of course, we are celebrating 3,000 subscribers thanks to all you fine people here. And the giveaway is going to roll on all the way until the day before the season starts. So any video on the channel, leave a comment. Not in the live chats. You've got to leave it properly after streams finish, and you'll get entered into a chance to win $100 cold hard cash, $25 to our merch store, and 12 months premium access, including all my DFS weekly write-ups, which I cannot wait to start getting back to. Michael did a $3.20 entry max for you about a week ago. You got you guys stacked Zay at 45, Lamar at 52. Haven't seen Lamar fall that far for the miracle value stack. Yeah, I've seen it happen a few times lately. We've definitely entered the point on DraftKings where players are falling down because of value at times, like the casuals are in there and things are going a bit weird. So yeah, definitely a good time. You've been seeing much of that on here, Tyler?
Which player?
Like quarterbacks in general falling and seeing that kind of stuff?
I'm seeing more quarterbacks getting like people reaching for their stacks. Even the casual folks are pushing up the quarterbacks. I'm not seeing quarterbacks fall very much unless it's some sort of like injury concern thing. So I think the days of pushing a quarterback 2 guys round is not as likely. I think, especially now, what I'm seeing is a lot of people are like, I want to either get my stacks or I want to not be left behind a quarterback. And so I like to punt quarterback. I like to push it a whole lot more, and it's becoming tough because I have to just at some point I have to reach a round or 2 for guys like Bo or Drake because they are likely to go off very, very quickly. The rookie quarterback dip is nearly gone.
Yeah, I mean, I've built a lot of 3 QB teams this year, but I'm building more 2 QB teams at the minute because it's just harder to get them stacked in a way I would like. Shout out Nez, appreciate you, dude. Hopefully Nez can manage to make time to join us on Sunday. I know he's a busy man and got things going on. What are you thinking, Tyler?
This
Definitely
might be
for
my
wide receivers.
rare JSN share to set up a double stack
Yep.
Seattle thing. And then are you good with Watson? Do you want to do Hollywood? Do you want to do Coleman? What's
I mean, JSN's the one who I'd definitely pick there, and then I don't really feel strongly about Watson over Keon Coleman. Hollywood, I've kind of eased back off at the minute, unless you really want to take him.
I think I still want to just buy on a healthy Watson
I
camp.
can do,
Get
yeah, I
access to the
can be
QA
okay with Watson as wide receiver 4.
because I will say that the other thing too is I see a lot of Seattle with Baltimore builds, and if Love comes back around, I will not mind building a non Jaden Reed, Jordan Love. I would just want to. Oh, by the way, we hit 3K. Dude, it was. I think that was the wildest part. Is like I had that stupid nutty Jefferson Puka BBM start last night. The same day we hit 3K. It was just like blessings on the Lord's Day. That's we're just hitting the nut button on the Lord's Day, getting 3K, make it all rhyme, get it, just take it to the bank. It's fucking awesome. I'm
Yeah,
stoked.
there was a point early June where me and Rich were looking at the numbers, and we were like, 3,000 subs might be a hard push by the time the season rolls around. But honestly, the way, particularly these underdog shows, have absolutely brought in so many awesome people. So very, very grateful to you guys here watching who've been here multiple Mondays, Fridays, and Sundays hanging out with us. Just a great time. And next year, even bigger, even better.
Yeah, good
Um,
shout on the Christian Watson upside. I mean, in best ball, he's that like Gabe Davis archetype of huge bombs. And I think in an ambiguous wide receiver room, I don't want to. I still want to buy year two, breakout type of Jaden Reed. Especially, I think what some folks are forgetting is with AJ Dillon and Marshawn Lloyd missing time or missing chunks of camp and struggling with injuries. Josh Jacobs started camp with a issue. Is Jaden Reed is a lot like, and I like no bullshit. He's a lot like the Debo Samuel, year 2, year 3 profile. So if the backup running backs are missing time, Jaden Reed might get more opportunities rushing the ball. I don't think it just everybody's like, oh, this means Jacobs is like set up to crush. The coaching staff has never talked about him in like a bell cow role. That's not what LaFleur does. So it's like Jaden Reed has more outs over like season long and just in general of like, hey, let's just mix him in, running the ball, getting these jet sweep, PPR scam type of touches that we see out of the LaFleur offense. But I don't want to forget about guys like Watson having a healthy camp has a huge like he and Love have a connection. Love forces him the ball. We've seen that a lot of camp. Is it Reed, Dubs, and Watson are kind of like the go-to red zone guys, and Watson's getting those deep targets. So it's like he has a high A-dot role and an offense I want pieces of, and regression this, regression that. Regression D's nuts because at the end of the day, dude that is aggressive and chucks the ball that the coaching staff trusts, sign me up. That's better in best ball, literally. And Warren Sharp noting that they have a Charmin soft opening schedule, so Watson could theoretically help. Like this whole offense could get off to a really hot start, and if they're rolling, we've seen a confident Love just getting a rhythm. So I want to bet on young players developing. I want to bet on players that have a depressed cost having a really good healthy camp, especially in a team catching up at wide receiver. I
yeah.
see the vision.
Yeah, and maybe I've been a little too burned by the Trey Lance
True.
NDSU experience because little thing most people don't know about me. I've only been to 2 college games in America, and one of them was in North Dakota. So I always had a little bit of a soft spot, keeping an eye out for North Dakota players on the back of that. And
Sounds like
Christian
fun.
Watson, I had plenty of the year he came into the league. But yeah, North Dakota, go catch a game there. Great experience.
I mean, it makes sense, right? Like big bodies get targeted in the red zone, or guys that are getting open in the red zone, and that's Dobbs, that's Watson, and Dobbs upside is like Watson missing time. If Watson's on the field, I think it still seems he is the preferred target. And
Yeah.
Reed has been a favorite in the red zone because he gets open and he's fast.
Yeah, what are you thinking here? Do you want to take another running back, or do you want to just make sure we've got 5 wide receivers first? I'd be fine grabbing a wide receiver first and then looking at running back second.
Agreed. Yeah.
Um, Yeah, I like Josh Palmer. Are you coming round a bit on Josh Palmer, or are you still feeling a bit?
Well, so talent-wise, I don't mind doing the double stack or the double tap Green Bay, but no, I think Palmer. It's just he's locked into starting set. Chark is not a guy. Ladd is a guy, and he's been a favorite target of Herbert. So it's projectable volume. I don't mind chasing it because what if the Chargers pass a little bit more than we think? If I'm fading J.K. Dobbins, if I'm fading a little bit of Gus Edwards, and I'm buying Ladd, I should probably also extend that to, well, what if in the playoff weeks Palmer's who hits? Do we want to be done at quarterback
Ooh,
and use
that's
CMC as the advancement lever, or do we want to grab
yeah.
a running
I'm
back?
good with taking Jordan Love. I think that's probably a less common pairing. And
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
we've
fine.
bet on Jackson Smith and Jigba and DK Metcalf. I don't think that Gino is going to end up getting benched this year. I know there are people who do think that, but I think DK Metcalf and Jackson Smith and Jigba can still have really good weeks without it necessarily meaning Gino is putting up enough points to be playing ahead of Lamar Jackson or Jordan Love on our roster.
Well, and that's the thing is I think folks do forget that Jordan Love can regress slightly passing the ball, and he still has a really nice rushing upside because when the chips are down and guys are going man coverage, he will just go rip a 30-yard run. And that was partially what helped him. Like his insane touchdown rate was helpful, but also when he was having those down weeks, he was, the 30 rushing yards and a touchdown were a nice boost to his floor. So if you're going to give me a mobile quarterback who he's like Josh Allen light, right? Like it's what we saw last year. It's a sneaky rushing floor, and by sneaky, it's like it's rookie year Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence esque, but he chooses his moments much more in the red zone than just in general. So it's like those rushing attempts are, and same thing with like CJ Stroud. It's like the rushing's not very much, but when they choose to do it, it's pretty valuable. So especially if we only get skinny stacked, I don't mind it being a rushing threat quarterback, especially week 17 versus Minnesota. I'm going to keep chasing that week 17 as long as they're going to keep giving it to me because pass rate, division game, pushing. They have to try in those games because it's a division game every single time.
Yeah. So I mean, let's just pivot away from this. Like, obviously, 10 days to go on best ball. What are you looking at when you get to BBM number 69? What are you moving on to after that?
You're asking me to look beyond BBM 69, and then what? Well, I had a pretty good year on drafters last year, cumulative scoring. So, and we've gotten some late breaking injury timelines, potential trade and cut stuff, some moving depth charts, some reading of the tea leaves, depth charts. So, probably going to chase a little bit of overlay with the marathon here on Underdog. Going to chase some overlay on drafters. Enjoy both those contests. Enjoy both of those formats. Drafters got a lot of good promos going on. And then at that point, I have enough volume on. So it's like I'm not maybe then I just go prioritize grass. But I will be also going out to Vegas for the ship chasing stuff. I can't draft Underdog in Vegas. So I basically have until Wednesday afternoon when I land in Vegas next week. So it's whatever I can get in before then. And with a new role at work, and the first weekend without the in-laws, without house projects or anything like that, it's whatever I can fit in, and my wife won't kill me for doing. Even this week, I'm like, ooh, these late night BBM streets. I got to get a few more of these in before it closes. And she's like, oh, fantastic! You're drafting while we're trying to go to bed because I'm like, I got a Puka Jefferson start. I'm trying to get generational wealth.
Yeah, it's been an off season. Like I said to my wife earlier, yeah, after this week, everything will calm down. And she said
Go
that's
ahead.
about the 6th week in a row that you've said that. So definitely looking forward to a change of pace next week. And if you are on Underdog, there is loads of promos popping at the minute. They launched their NFL Week 1 discounts this week. I believe you can choose one out of 4 different discount options for Washington versus Tampa Bay. Got loads of stuff. I'll do my best to be tweeting them out and making sure that people are aware of different discounts coming down. But Underdog absolutely going to keep throwing good value at people over the next week. Rico Dowdle,
Wow, Pat's a fake fan. Didn't take Rico Dowdle. Took Brian Robinson over Rico Dowdle. Shows
I
you who.
mean, yeah. I would have taken Brian Robinson ahead of Rico Dowd. But I'm fine with Rico. I don't mind Jerome Ford. I think, we can go Jerome Ford and then really hammer some of rookie running backs who might come on later. Yeah, Jerome Ford, Blake Corum kind of works. I think that's a nice pairing.
Okay.
Thomas familiar with reality TV show World Fly over to tape 72 vlog live stream of Emo Cowboy. My days in reality TV are definitely done and dusted. It was a brutal way to start a TV career, but
well, this morning on Best Ball Breakfast, Historical said he needed me to vlog my Vegas trip, and I said, well, then let me borrow one of Pete's producers because I'm going to be having too much fun to have a fucking camera out filming myself. But if someone else does it and I forget about it, then it's good to go. I will say that it's a great idea for all you fuckers. Me, it's there's no hiding behind it. I get to have all the fun and get judged. Vegas with the ship chasing crew is a lot of fun, and I have more fun because I do not go draft main events. The last thing I want more managed waiver wires, more start sit decisions. I just want to go drink and party.
You don't want to draft a $2,000 team whilst hungover.
There's a lot of fucking. And that's the thing too, is then people go like, look, I got a 2K, I got a main event tomorrow, and I don't want to be drinking and hung. It's like dude, coming to Vegas just to, look, I get it. We love fantasy, we love drafting, but it is some of the most mother's basement, sweaty nerd bullshit to fly to Vegas to not drink and party, but just to go into a room with a bunch of old white men and the occasional cool black dude that's drafting a 2K team with a bunch of fucking cardboard and sticking names on it for 4 hours. That's brutal, man. I'm there to party and have a good time and watch the games with my people. I get the sweaty EV chick, and that's the thing. Every time I say that, I'm like, no, that's the thing. We want to be drafted against the hungover people. I'm like, dude, that's so like, look, man, like go chase your stuff, but I'm good, man. I'm just gonna go have fun.
Yeah, I don't know. I think live draft experiences are always a lot of fun, and there's definitely something about them that is so much better than doing these kind of ones, and that you want to get involved in. But
yeah, they're fun.
give me drafting at a bar or somewhere like that, rather than in these rooms, which feel very serious because there's a shitload of money on the line. And I don't know. I'd rather be drafting from home for when I dive into slightly higher stakes stuff, and I can control the environment.
Tell you what. Here's the EV grind live draft I'm good with. You put it up at a strip club. TV in the back has the game on. I get to draft and look at ass and titties, and other people get distracted, and probably myself. And we're all in the same level playing field. And then I'm in. And then, until you host it somewhere fun that's not a fucking ballroom, whatever,
Oh, here he is.
What, boys?
Hey, Pat, how you doing?
Doing good. How you guys doing?
Yeah, we're good. We were just talking about Tyler previewing the ship chasing trip to Vegas and how much he really doesn't need to do any drafts there because he wants to actually enjoy himself.
You can do both.
A lot of people don't. I was actually pitching the first live draft at a strip club, and then I'd be interested.
Okay.
Live entertainment that distracts everyone equally, Also, a fake fan of Rico Dowdle. Curious you didn't take him 10 picks ahead of ADP, Kerrane. Like, wow.
Yeah, well, I was thinking this ADP was kind of crazy going in the 130s. Now he's going damn near the 110, so it's a little less crazy.
Take Ty Chandler here for the bring back, Tyler.
Yeah, and then I'm thinking Michael Wilson or or we go get our guy, because he's not fucking coming back. And I'm not saying it's just because Kerrane's on right now. I know he's not fucking coming back because he said on stream, I'm getting him everywhere I can. So it's Michael Wilson or it's Jalen McMillions.
You take the decision there, Tyler, because you have been all over Jalen McMillan all season. Pat, how are you feeling? Like, you know, are you drafting 50 different teams at once at the minute?
No, I like to do the best Ball Manias at most 2 at a time. And you guys caught me when I just had one going. So, yeah, I'm behind though. Normally, I was going to say I like to do them 1 at a time, but I didn't do enough. So I still got like 26 or something left. So yeah, today I'm just like, I did a bunch of pods this morning. I got tomorrow completely blocked off to write. But today, yeah, I have 27 left. Today I'm just going to try to get as many BBMs in as I can.
I haven't been tracking how fast they're filling per day, but like, what's the current feel on when it's going to fill?
It is almost 90% filled.
87 and a half. I just checked.
Yeah. So I was hoping I could get down to like 15 by today, and then I'd be kind of more at pace with the tournament. So, I mean, I assume it's going to fill by like the end of the week.
Yeah, that feels likely. And if not, then yeah, you're definitely looking at Saturday to just
this is really fucking up my whole like 69th BBM stream, because I'm like, when am I actually going to be able to do it? Am I going to be able to do it for Friday night? Am I going to have to like rip it at midnight Friday because you sick fucks have it at 99%? Like, I don't
fucks.
Like I was spacing them out. I'm having a good time, and then I'm like, and then everybody's like, "Oh my god, I think it's gonna close by Friday or Saturday." I'm like, Jesus Christ, get a hobby, my god.
This is the hobby, man. This is what I'm doing.
I'm surprised, Kerrane. I feel like if you blocked out, I mean, and this is my ADHD brain, so tell me I'm sick, but like if I block out the whole day to write, to me that's every hour I take a break to draft. And it becomes a 10-hour day where I write for 5 and I draft for 5.
I can't do it. I can't do it that way. I need to like just be completely undistracted. Like basically the phone. Honestly, like the slow drafts that I have are distracting but I'll set alarms every 3.5 hours.
Yeah, those are brutal, man. Jesus Christ, it's the nonstop. And now the clocks are going to get faster.
Yeah, the clocks are going to get faster. What, Thursday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And then DraftKings next Monday jumps straight down from 8 hours to like 1 hour. So it's time to get your rankings set your positional limits, and it isn't going to be much fun.
Oh, we drafting Cordell Patterson again for week 1. Groin strain on his one carry. 34 years old.
How are you guys feeling about the P. Ryan sweepstakes?
Like,
unbothered.
I don't think he goes back to the.
You didn't draft enough Bengals and Cowboys then.
Correctamundo. I've been drafting every other fucking backfield. A lot.
Like, I just feel like he could end up on the Chargers. Like, if he ends up being cut, I don't think he makes it past the Chargers in waiver wire priority.
The Chargers is this is what I said on ADP chasing. I feel like as a fantasy community, we all deserve the Chargers because no one's like out on these Chargers packs, right? Someone's got someone they're taking.
Yeah, I will sacrifice 9% Vidal at the altar of killing J.K. Dustbins and Gus, like the prophecy foretold. I'm fine with that. Sorry, everyone. I'm willing to make that sacrifice as someone that got super cheap Chase Brown and super cheap. God damn it! I almost called him Zach Evans, Zach Moss. All fucking. Yeah, guys, I mean, it's reached the time of year where everybody's name is the same to me. I need to see jerseys. I need reminders of who these guys play for.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably the reality of it. Like, we always do this wish casting with, and the same is happening with Khalil Herbert. Like, where could Khalil Herbert end up if he was cut by the Bears? But in reality, what ends up happening is that some crappy team with higher waiver wire priority or whatever, or with more cap to spend, ends up taking them, and then they just get buried and don't really pay off in any meaningful way.
isn't it the most Browns, not Browns, God damn it, the most Bears move ever to just go collect running backs and tight ends like they're going on a style though? Like that.
Tight ends for sure. Shane Waldron loves not playing any tight ends.
But
more
like
than 30% of
P.
the
Ryan can be his new Travis Homer, you know? Like,
well, they already have Travis Homer.
exactly. Now the Travis Homer at home, not as good as the Travis Homer at Chick-fil-A.
Oh, I
and
see.
P. Ryan is Chick-fil-A Travis Homer.
I like that a lot.
What are we doing here, Tyler?
I mean, Cole Kmet next to Noah Fant and Tyler Conklin seems fine. But
yeah, I'm kind of, pick 168. That's fine if you want to go Cole Kmet. I don't think I've really
he's
drafted.
still earning targets while splitting. I don't.
And reports are saying that he looks really good and possibly the most athletic he's looked since.
I've seen Gerald Everett play. He doesn't matter.
Yeah, and you're going to see more of it too.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to scoop down this delicious Cole Kmet that definitely won't give me food poisoning. And,
Tyler.
God damn it, Tom. Jesus fuck. Son of a bitch. You're talking about food poisoning.
Well, Pat, I haven't listened to anything you've done in the last sort of like couple of days yet, but how are you feeling about Drake May in the last, like coming out of the weekend where he played so well with Jared Mayo's then saying today that he outplayed Jacoby Brissett, but it doesn't necessarily mean that he's the best option for him early season. Like, what's your current thinking for which week Drake May ends up out there?
Yeah, love to be such a bad roster that the quarterback we took number 3 overall is him, and we can't play him because we'll just ruin him behind an offensive line. That's the worst in the league. That's just excellent roster building right there. Congratulations to the Patriots.
We put him on the thumbnail today, and I'm calling him Mayhem. You know what I'm saying? So,
is it Mayhem? Is that the play? What's the?
It's like Mayhem, but I'm calling him Mayhem. So it's a double. It's a triple entendre, actually. Don't look like I'm stupid and crazy.
Tyler, you've got us some really good nicknames. I mean, like the last time Pat was on, we were Generic Prince, but
Generic Prince. See, I give it up when it's a good nickname. That's a great nickname, Generic Prince. And I mean, honestly, prophetic.
Tough crowd.
Generic Prince is pretty generic as it turns out. I'm not gonna make
People could have seen this coming.
Yeah.
What? So like their opening schedule is what? The Bengals, the Seahawks, the Jets, the 49ers, the Dolphins, the Texans. They probably can't survive past the Jets with Jacoby Brissett if they're going to be stubborn, right? Because that's going to be an ugly, ugly game versus that defense.
Yeah.
That's been my thinking all along. And I do think that there are, human incentives are probably an underrated aspect of this type of stuff. And there are just no incentives to continue to go put Jacoby, especially after this preseason. I think there were scenarios where May just wasn't really showing much.
Right.
But it's a little different when he's flashed, and now it's like, are we really going to subject the fans to this for much longer?
Well, okay, so the other thing too is it's on an expedited schedule because even if they want to be stubborn, their starting quarterback, according to them, behind a bad offensive line, has already taken an injury to his throwing shoulder. Last I checked, the line's not going to stop the hits from coming to the guy that's a pocket passer. So it's like he gets hit one more time, like the Romo back-breaking thing, and it's like all of a sudden, if you wanted to sit him, you might not get to. There's a chance he starts week 1. There's a chance he's not ready to start week 1. We don't have information on how bad the shoulder injury was. So I think it's the clock is ticking faster than it ever was because he's already starting the season hurt.
Yeah, and I keep making this point, but it's not like he had a good offensive line at North Carolina. It's not like he had good weapons at North Carolina. Obviously, the NFL is different, but just let Drake May get out there and start experiencing it. And even if you have to end up pulling him.
Okay, guy, you guys are really killing me there, though. I don't know if you saw this team that I completely set up for Drake May, and then I pushed it to the 16th because you better believe I'm taking plenty of 15th round Drake May. But I'm like, the Drake May exposure is high at this point. So I'm like, let me try to push this a little bit in spots where I can see if I can get some 16th round Drake May still.
So,
But yeah,
how much higher than your second quarterback?
What do you mean?
If Drake May is your most exposed quarterback, how much higher is it compared to your second?
I mean, it's not even in the same ballpark. Like Drake May is going to be my highest owned player in BBM, I think. And I don't really treat quarterback like that, but
yeah,
so I'm at 27% overall on Drake May now. And let me pull up BBM. I felt that Drake May was kind of one of the key to the season's the entire this entire off season. So I've been hammering him throughout, but now you've got the potential where he starts right away. Right away, he's starting Drake May. I mean,
Tom, do you have a lean between Tracy and Tank?
I'd probably just go Tracy over Tank. Yeah.
Okay.
And you want Justice Hill?
I mean, pass catching back with Lamar makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Lamar constantly throws to running backs. But no, I'm fine
it.
with it. No, I'm fine with it because I think
cheeky fuck, Tom.
I think because at this point in the draft season, obviously, there's a lot of teams who didn't,
I mean, we don't have to take a sixth, but this feels disgustingly thin to me, frankly.
No, I'd be fine with Justice Hill. I think even if you're just locking down early season production, he's probably got something there.
Unless there's a receiver here you really like.
Well, like I say, I just got off one show where I said that Tim Patrick was nailed down for a great role, so why don't we just draft him?
Sounds good. He's going to end up on the Lions as a bring back for Christian McCaffrey because we're goddamn oracles.
The best part there was, I was just so convinced that with it being a pre-record, I was like, make sure you let us know in the comments which of these teams is better, mine or Andrew's. So good times. Might ask in our Discord for people to go and send me some sympathy votes there. But Kerrane, you drafting Justice Hill?
Coward. I don't blame you.
Keaton Mitchell didn't exist. I would be more into it.
Keaton Mitchell won't exist until like December.
Hey, do you know when the final of this is?
Let me spin you a yarn, my man.
Yeah.
The guy that's coming off an ACL and weighs 165 soaking wet, with a hulk of a man, and the dude that's just been putting it down for the underground all season long, in Justice Hill. By the way, we will never give up Justice Hill. We will stand on this hill. We will die on this hill. No, I'm thinking that like from the standpoint of like vet deference and the way they like use Keaton, like what's their incentive to like rush him back at the end of the season if they're rolling via the pass? I don't know, because they've had such a bitch of a time with all the soft tissue injury stuff. Like and he's probably not going to be at like the juice may not pop as much for a guy who's
that's true.
Yeah. So I don't know.
But I would say he's found money for them. Keaton Mitchell was UDFA. Like, so he's not.
Yeah.
There's no plan for Keaton Mitchell. The plan is, that was cool. Would like to see more of that if possible. That's their Keaton Mitchell plan. So it really is just up to whether or not he's healthy. And if he is, though, at the end of the season, he had so much juice last year that it just makes me a little bit more nervous about betting on Hill, who I don't really think that much of.
Well, so you're not taking a ton of Derrick Henry, are you?
Like none.
Right. So what if the 30-year-old near the age cliff?
Well, this is why I do have a little Keaton Mitchell.
And this is why I have a little bit of Justice Hill.
Okay.
Because here's another yarn I can spin very, very briefly. Week 17, they've mostly got it locked down. They're gonna throttle Henry's workload down, getting ready for the playoffs because he's a 30-something-year-old with a big fucking frame, and they're just gonna let Justice and Keaton scurry around like the little selves they are, because the Houston Texans, it's not a big deal. There's a lot of ways that this could pan out. I just think like Justice Hill has gotten these like scam quick out targets that Henry's likely not going to get with the way they use him. And I think Keaton can mix in something, but he's still like a change of pace guy. So
no, he is. You're right.
Yeah.
I think, there's definitely going to be a reason to want to see what he can do, because the Derrick Henry contract is one which they can get out very easily after this year. If Derrick Henry does look like an old running back who wears down, and figuring out whether they've got something in Keaton Mitchell or whether they need to go out and spend draft capital or sign someone in free agency makes sense. So I can see that. I think it was December 15th, December 16th when Keaton Mitchell got injured. It was definitely not
so
October.
And I think like surgery for that usually is about a week or two afterwards for swelling, 9-month recovery minimum, and then you need some ramp up time. So it's just all those things in consideration.
He's gonna miss a ton of the season.
Yeah. Tyler, we've got a couple of picks left before ours. What are we doing? Another wide receiver to round out this room, or are you happy at 7?
We had what? Yeah, I'm thinking an 8th receiver here makes sense. We could do the Jalen Naylor thing with Ty Chandler and Watson. We could do the Hyatt year 2 thing. We could do.
I'm good with Hyatt. There's nobody else, but maybe Josh Reynolds. Does Josh Reynolds get a bump with Tim Patrick gone?
Look, I took Rashad Bateman. I can't take Josh Reynolds on the same team.
Let's take Jalen Hyatt then. Jalen Hyatt.
I'm not going to look Kerrane in the eyes and draft Josh fucking Reynolds.
Hey, I just took Zach Ertz, so.
Oh my God. I am no, I'm kidding. Zach Ertz is going to be great until week 5 when he.
I have Bowers. I use Ertz to help with stuff. So Bowers, Hunter Henry, and Ertz. I feel like an okay room.
Yeah, that's fine. God damn, dude, it's such a bummer. I really start buying in Bowers no matter what his price is, and the dude fucking tweaks his foot. It's like, come on, don't do this to me.
Yeah,
I don't think Brock Bowers off season. It's just been constantly shitty news from not being able to do anything before the combine, not doing any kind of testing, and we got one preseason game where we saw some decent stuff out of him, but.
Yeah, he's having the Lad McConkey run out, but no one's talking about it, despite him looking like a goddamn spreadsheet nerd at the fucking combine. Like, come on. You're supposed to be sturdy. What is this?
You pull up a draft board, Tyler, so we can just view this one in its beauty.
That's a word.
And would you mind recapping it for the audio listeners for us? And then also, might as well run through Pat's team that he was so kind to drop in and draft with as well. So
yeah, no, I loved us sneakily getting in a stream draft where we could talk openly, and then we see Mr. Patty Warbucks himself here to steal our precious EV and make us push up the fun players, which is why we settled for early Jordan Love, because I'm like, we're not getting May. So
seeing you guys had Jackson and Love, I was like, oh yeah, I'm pushing May.
So much more hilarious if he goes before you. This man does not need. No offense, Pat. You do not need another $1.5 million. Save some for the rest of us. I'm just saying.
It'd be pretty fun though.
All right,
imagine how many teams you'd end up drafting.
Too many.
He could hit 5,000 drafts in a year with another $1.5 million. He just becomes the fucking TOD of let's just throw more money in drafts. That'll fix it. Let's see. 2682 with Lamar, Jordan Love, CMC, Jerome Ford, Blake Corum, Ty Chandler, Tyrone Tracy, Justice Hill, DK Metcalf, Devonta Smith, JSN, Christian Watson, Josh Palmer, Jalen McMillions. Please, 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 God, survive the ship chasing clip curse. Rashad Bateman, Jalen Hyatt, Mark Andrews, and Cole Kmet. Awoo. A little bit.
Love it.
Bring back on Seattle too. And then we had some schmuck in the 8th spot named Daily Rojo, drafted 357 ranked, buying the Drake Mains team. Justin, has anyone ever called you Daily Rojo? Because that's really funny.
No, that is funny though.
Oh, that's fantastic. I tickle myself, guys. I don't do it for you. I do it for me. Justin Herbert, Drake May, Sam Darnold, gotta love it. Devon H.N., Jalen Warren, Brian Robinson, Antonio Gibson, Khalil Herbert. Where do you get your ideas, Daily Rojo? Justin Jefferson, Stephon Diggs, T. Higgins, George Pickens, Roma Dunze, Lad McConkey. Love me some Lad. Jalen Polk, Brock Bowers, Hunter Henry, Zach Ertz. Fun team. The George Pickens fall is so funny to me because everyone's like, no, he belongs to a 3-4 turn. He is the alpha. Look at the yak. He nuked it up with Mason fucking Rudolph. And then it's like Brandon Ayuk might go to the Steelers, but probably not. And they're like, oh God, can't fucking touch him now. I forgot how few targets he's going to see this year. It's like, why is he going at 56?
It's funny because I think that fall and some of the other stuff that's happening, but I think that fall is probably most indicative of like the fact that there's just a different group of people here now than there were before, right? Because you're like the same Pickens people, you guys were taking him at the end of the third, and now it's like, but those people are done drafting. They're maxed, you know, they're not coming in. They were more responsible in the terms of
those greedy hogs went, oh, I'm so full of my 3-4 turn George Pickens.
Yes.
I can't have any more. Ooh, look, Fat Keenan.
Fat Keenan in the 6th, though. But yeah, I mean, the Pickens thing is really funny. I do think maybe it kind of like illuminates that bull case was never that strong. If he like can't, now that Ayuk's not going there, he can't get his ADP back up into the mid 4th again. But yeah.
Do we speculate that perhaps it's even like a little bit of the magic is like everybody was telling themselves Justin Fields plus DJ Moore vibes, and then it's like Russ will start and this offense will probably suck and it's going to run a lot, and you know
I think this was probably a pretty good run out for Pickens, because
absolutely
in some ways the worst case scenario for him was that they handed the job to Fields, because if you give the job to Fields, they probably cut Russ, and now he just has one out, and that out is Justin Fields. Now at least he's got, you know, maybe they ping pong back and forth. Maybe it's kind of a disaster at times, but he's getting occasionally good quarterback play like that. That's probably better. Like, I think I'd rather have Russ there, because who knows? Like, maybe, like, I think Russ is completely washed, but I could be wrong.
It could also be way worse. Like, washed Russ fed Cortland Sutton last year to his best finish since he was a rookie. So
before tearing his ACL,
it
was a second year.
Yeah, washed Russ still better than Kenny Pickett. Would I like Mason Rudolph to stay in town? Yeah. Is that better than like go sign Tannehill off the couch? Russ is much better than that. Yes.
So, so I don't think it's bad that Russ won this job for Pickens. And then you do have Fields waiting in the wings if he's bad. So I think the Pickens fall is really nice. The Ladd fall is really nice. Getting these wide receivers in the late 7th,
silly.
Dude, I never got it. He's set up so well.
Pete being out on him boggles my mind, because I'm like I understand the price, but like we're wrong about which wide receivers matter all the time. His peripherals, while limited, were very promising. He has the cleanest run out of any rookie. And if he's going to fail, it's going to be failing despite a shitload of volume, because it's Palmer, who's a part-time role guy, and DJ Chark and Quentin Johnston. Like, he has to be so shitty to not at least be shitty on volume. Like, his worst round was like what? Cortland Sutton last year?
He absolutely can just be the PPR scam. But for me, he was a player who I didn't mind taking. But like the Justin Herbert foot injury is the biggest reason why I've kind of eased back, because it's like it just feels like something that's going to linger. It feels like the Chargers, much as Jim Harbaugh is probably going to try and make them compete to the millionth level no matter what, it just feels like there's a situation where you don't risk your franchise quarterback's health on a year when you're probably going to be quite shitty all around. So I don't know. It's a completely different situation, but like you go back to like the Darnell Mooney, Justin Fields year, where it was like, okay, well, who else is there? Somebody's got to catch the ball. He's the most talented player. And I think sometimes it's easy to kind of go a little bit past the overall situation for that. But this, I mean, just
Herbert comfortably better of a quarterback in the NFL than just
that's where I was definitely heading to.
I'm like Ladd McConkey is priced like a shittier, unproven version of Keenan Allen from like Good Route Runner thing. I don't know. I don't think he's priced anywhere near his ceiling, because if he's very good, he is skinny Amon-Ra, who we are drafting in the first round this year. So
Amon-Ra is really kind of one of the comps that, you know, obviously I don't expect him to be like a superstar like that, but like even if he doesn't produce right away, he has a really high ceiling down the stretch, because there's really not any real talent. You know, like Palmer's fine. Palmer can play. He can run routes. He can get open a little bit. But McConkey, like that guy, is not a. I mean, the prospect profile had some real warts, but
For sure.
his efficiency per route was really impressive. And he does a thing. He gets open. He gets open in the intermediate area.
He gets
and,
open with a quarterback that doesn't like to squeeze it into tight windows unless he
Exactly.
absolutely has to. That's the thing.
He
That's-
likes to throw over the middle and
Yeah.
into the intermediate area of the field. Like, it's a really nice fit. Like, this
And
is
they
what
have-
Herbert does well.
We have no tight ends. It's not like they can like lean on a tight end. It's Will fucking Disley and Hayden Hurst.
They will be leaning on Will Disley to block the shit out of kids, but he won't be running routes.
Justin Herbert will literally be leaning on him with his fucked up foot so he can get it off to McConkey.
Yeah, that's it.
Pat,
Yeah,
I know you've got plenty of more teams to get to, so I just want to get to a couple of questions in the chat before we let you get out of here. But
sure.
question for Pat: when you draft a low-owned player, do you instantly look to see if it makes a new Drake May pair?
No, I just assume it doesn't.
Pat is like Doctor Strange. I have drafted 1 million iterations of Drake May, and they are all captured in my portfolio.
And then we've got Edgar in the chat asking thoughts on Hubbard as my RB2. I also have Brooks CMC is my RB1. I'm assuming this is more of a redraft or possibly even a dynasty take, but
Yeah,
I mean,
the format here is important.
Yeah.
Edgar, if you're still here, drop it in and we'll come back to this one.
You
But
have CMC, you're fine.
oh
Yeah.
boy, Dalvin Cook's going to visit the Cowboys. Apparently he's flying into
Good. Do
Dallas
it.
tonight to visit
Do it.
them. Wheels up on Rico Dowdle at that point. I mean,
Yes.
Zeke and
Cover, baby.
Dalvin.
That's sweet Dalvin cover. I already played this game. I played this game last
Yes.
year. Dalvin Cook. I don't know if you guys saw him at all last year. This dude is not a threat. He's not.
My favorite game to play is Faded Dalvin Cook. I win every time. It's fantastic. That said,
Pirine, I do not want Pirine to the Cowboys. That would be annoying. I don't want him to the Bengals, even though I haven't drafted a ton of Zach Moss and Chase Brown. I have enough to where it would hurt. So yeah,
Pirine
Cook can sign wherever he wants.
Piran's been in the league for like sneaky long time, hasn't he? Like, part of me, I was thinking that he might end up subject to waivers, but he might end up being just past that and being able to just sign as a free agent. Am I right in thinking that, or am I just off the ball?
I think it just
here?
depends
I don't
on
know.
if anyone wants to give up a 7th or a 6th to get him. That's really just
Yeah.
the question.
He's kind of had a couple different lives as an NFL running back because he was with the Commanders where he was like this big bruising. I mean, he's like 230 pounds, but he wasn't really. And then he became a pass catcher later in his career. And I mean, look at like receiver rating, you look at yards per route run, you just look at like what he's actually doing on the field. But the efficiency there has been very impressive. Like he's a good receiving back. That's why I find him a little bit concerning because wherever he goes, I think he'll have a role as a pass blocker and receiver.
Yeah, we are not down for these type of comments, Huzia. That's we don't need this negativity in our lives.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past Arthur Smith.
But
here's what we have. We have Mike Tomlin. I don't know if you guys saw the clips of Jalen Warren pass protecting. Do you guys see these?
No, I'm not searching pass protection. Jalen Warren.
They're worth watching.
Snaps.
They do like a drill, like a pass pro drill with the linebacker.
Oh yeah, he was absolute dog material.
He was smoking these linebackers. Najee was doing well too. You know, they're both good pass protectors. But anyway, Tomlin has his back
as much as a linebacker.
He did. He was absolutely wrecking. Was it Patrick Queen who they'd signed this offseason to try and shore up their middle linebackers? So either Jalen Warren is an absolute dog, or their middle linebacker group's still going to be problematic for him. I'd be very happy for it to be both. Yes, Dale, drop back in. Pat dropped in to join us about halfway through the show as we realized he was in our draft. Pat, we're going to let you go because I know you got a lot of drafts to do, but anything in particular you've got coming up on Leg Up over the next week or so before?
Yeah, this week I've got my legendary running back scenarios will drop this week, so check that out.
That's always a fun read.
Yeah, I'm putting that out free for the people, so make sure
Man of the people.
Check it out.
Man of the people. Patty Warbucks giving back. You love to see it.
Yeah, the people need their reports from the future. That's
did Drake May having an awesome run out this weekend have anything to do with your fortuitous mood?
Yeah, I'm in a great mood because I mean, dude, when you're running down the sideline, you're running towards the sideline, and you've got this posture, and you're coming up and flicking it, and it's like, I mean, half the guys in the league couldn't get that velocity on the ball with a full windup. It's encouraging. It's encouraging.
Tua dreams of being able to do that.
Tua's never gotten the ball to go that fast.
Tua will never. Tua will cork his whole pussy, and the ball will go 20 yards. No, Drake May, Mahomes and Allen put together in a lab. That's you heard it here first.
Yeah. So a few more interceptions than those guys. There's going to be growing pains, you know. But
rookie year had a shit ton of interceptions.
But like this thing I've never understood with the Drake May stuff is like we are drafting players who score a lot of fantasy points. Like that's the whole point of this. He runs from
the point is to be right, Pat. The point is to be right, not score points, but to be right.
Well, aren't they the same when we're playing?
No, I can be directionally right and not score points.
I see. Okay.
I believe that's Davis Mattek take a lot of time.
That's an Eric Bimeford Davis Mattekism, guys.
And speaking of Eric will be joining me on Wednesday for DraftKings Draft, last one of the season. And then Tyler, Sunday, 5-hour stream, you, me, plenty of people who've been hopping in our chat and hanging out with us this summer, people whose shows we've been on. We're going to draft on DraftKings Drafters, Underdog. One last big best ball party. And, you know, Pat, if we see you in any of our drafts, we'll be sure to send the stream out your way.
Good luck, guys.
Appreciate everyone hanging out. We'll be back very soon. And remember, leave a comment after this video is over to get into our summer giveaway.